Welcome to Femme Furious, a podcast where pop culture meets a feminine framing. I am your host, Julia Rose Portela, and it is Pride. Happy Pride babies. We are doing this year in queer. If you're here today, you're just like a little bit gay. And that's okay. Everybody's a little bit queer. You know, in Avenue Q, they have a song. It's called Everyone's a Little Bit Racist. Everyone is a little queer during Pride Month, I think. And everyone's a little bit queer all year round. That's why all of these Republican men are walking as seen on Grindr billboards. Let's get into it. But before we dive into the top 10 queer moments from last June to now, let me tell you how you can follow the pod. You can subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch video breakdowns of this episode or all episodes of the pod over on YouTube or on Spotify. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at Femme Furious Pod. You can send me an email. Send me your dirtiest queer thoughts. Maybe not. Maybe send me like your mildly dirty queer thoughts. I don't want like dirty like I have to call the police on you, but dirty like a dirty martini. Okay? Send me your dirty martini queer thoughts. That is over on femmeandfuriouspod@gmail.com. And last but not least, you can join the Two Femme Two Furious community. It's $10 a month. And it will get you Femme and Furious fully loaded bonus episodes. There is a birthday bonanza for my birthday, my 33rd birthday, coming up this week. The $10 also gets you the Suffragette Award, which is voting privileges on content, bonus episodes, and more. It gets you access to Tea Time, which is our online chat. A 15% discount off merch and live events. It gets you the Fast Five, which is a weekly content roundup, and it gets you Sunday Brunch, which is a virtual monthly hangout. All right, let's dive into today's episode. This is genuinely a quickie. Not a quickie like a recap how we normally do them, but just a top 10 moments of this year in queer. So much like our Juneteenth episode, which is coming out later this week, these episodes, this episode in particular, because this will be an annual event, a Pride episode, will always go from last June to now, so that it's exactly a year between Pride and Pride, okay? And we will start with 10 and we will go down to 1. So, we have at number 10, Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan, but specifically her performance of this at the VMAs, where she was dressed up as Joan of Arc, who is speculatively queer. And what is so amazing about this, she's in like the chainmail, she's like all dressed up, she does this whole performance, she's fighting dragons. The whole thing was so gay, so campy, and that's Chappell Roan's shtick, right? That's why she goes to number 10, even though she is like mega queer. She is campy. She is the quintessential theater kid. She is everything that you would anticipate your queer icon, your favorite artist to be. But what I love about the VMAs is that she goes on to win the Best New Artist, and after she had just done this incredible performance that was so gay in its demonstration, I just love that she went on to win Best Artist, and that we have an artist out in the world who has lyrics that are like knee deep in the passenger seat and I'm eating you out as a casual now. And having to do the mental math, if you've ever read a romance novel, a fantasy novel, there's a lot of having to do the math, because a lot of times they'll be like, the guy was like 7 foot tall and she was a tiny little thing, and you're like, how does this work? How do the pieces come together? When it comes to Chappell Roan and she says knee deep in the passenger seat and I'm eating you out as a casual now, I'm trying to envision like underneath the car seat in the front by the dashboard, there's not a lot of room there. Like to eat somebody out there, she's like a professional contortionist for being able to get the job done. And I'm just saying, Chad is hitting your clit like an amateur DJ. And Chappell Roan's on the floor, knee deep in the passenger seat, contorting herself underneath the dashboard to make sure you come. So, you know, pretty gay. Pretty gay artist sitting right at number 10. Number 9. Let's throw it all the way back to those of us who are chronically online. And if you are not, that is okay, because some of these online trends just happen to make their way out into the wild world. And one of those was very mindful, very demure, very cutesy. I don't know why I am insistent on giving that particular phrasing a strong accent, because it's not how the original video is, but that is my own twist on it. Very mindful, very demure. That is by Jules LeBron. Now, maybe this doesn't matter to you. Maybe you're just like, that's a trend that made its way out into the world. And congratulations, because you are a trans activist. Jules LeBron is actually a trans creator. And so for this experience of online viral event to be very mindful, very demure about makeup, and some of you girls show up like Marge Simpson, like so funny. And it had its moment. It was maybe a small moment, but it was an important one in pop culture. And so it's sitting at number 9 for our year of queer. Number 8, Vivian Wilson, if you do not know her, is daughter to Elon Musk. And she had an interview this year, an online interview, where she absolutely humiliated him. She tells these stories about him, and she was asked a question, how many hours do you think your dad works a day? And she said, I'm not really sure, because when I was like actively living with him or actively there, the school that they went to is a part of SpaceX. And she said, you know, we would only see him as he was driving us into school, and we would hear him yelling at employees in this like really loud, really uncomfortable way for all of us as kids. So that's just like one story that she tells. It's a very long interview, but she just continues to rag on him again and again and again, and even goes as far as to say, like, yeah, never was liberal. Like, this isn't this left field thing. This is always something that he's believed in. And that's whatever. Vivian Wilson is, in fact, Elon Musk's trans daughter. So this becomes even more interesting when you take that into consideration. And later, she goes on to be the cover model, cover girl of Teen Vogue. She is a teen icon right now, and I love it. She only recently has Cruising Along. Perhaps this is recency bias, but at number 7, I put Pedro Pascal with that rainbow stick, where he's dancing with the rainbow stick and he's like licking it and doing push-ups with it, pull-ups. He's using it like he's lifting weights. I don't know, because this followed swiftly by him at the movie theater, and he's like, I'm a lazy, bougie 50-year-old man. There is something so profoundly innocent and sweet and protect at all costs about Pedro Pascal. And this, whether it's bisexuality, whether it's queer, whatever, whether it's asexual, whatever his sexuality is, it doesn't like even matter. It is for the she's, gays, and theys. Pedro Pascal is not for the he's. Pedro Pascal is not for the he's. He is for the she's, the gays, and the theys. And that's it. Your sexuality could be strictly attracted to Pedro Pascal, and I would be like, I get that. Pedro Pascal is not for heterosexual people, and very specifically not for heterosexual men. If you know somebody who likes Pedro Pascal because of his rendition of Joel, or he was on Game of Thrones, or to which I will say Oberon was a queer character. Oberon's gay as fuck. Not necessarily in the show, but gay as fuck. The open shirt, the open yellow shirt. Pedro Pascal is for the she's, gays, and theys. You cannot convince me otherwise. Okay, Cruising Along. Number 6, Guessed by Billie Eilish and Charlie XCX. Charlie XCX is another one like Pedro Pascal for the she's, gays, and theys. Having Troye Sivan on the tour, having Chappell Rowan doing your Apple dance out at the tour, there is something very queer-coded about Charlie XCX. And it's fine to me that she's straight. I think that's incredible. I think go do your own thing, be a strong ally, have a good time. She's a party girl. We love it. But when they did this queer-baiting song, Guess, with Billie Eilish, I'm sorry. I would love to be in a sandwich between Charlie XCX and her curly hair. And Billie Eilish and her penetrating blue eyes. I would have a queer field day. Just saying. Number 5. Disney finally goes gay. With Agatha all along, we've got Catherine Hahn, who shows up somewhat naked. On like the second episode, we see a full back nudity. So there is a lot of butt in there. And also then has a queer storyline, to which I will say was 90% queer baiting and like very little payoff, but still whatever. Catherine Hahn with Aubrey Plaza. It was a 12 out of 10 for me. Every week the show got better and better. Listen, I'm not saying that I was in it for the gay stuff, but a show like Agatha All Along is queer coded to begin with. So the fact that they finally made a deliberately queer character and put it in there, they played it up in the trailers. There's much less of it in the show, but it is in there, and I'm proud of Disney. We're taking a step in the right direction. And so Agatha All Along, Catherine Hahn, Aubrey Plaza as Death and as Agatha. It was great. Beautiful love story. We are here for it, and we're here for the full back nudity. All right, at number 4, we have Ncuti Gatwa, who has debuted as Doctor Who's 15th Doctor. If you can't keep up with Doctor Who, that's fine. I get it. There's a lot going on. It's a lot of storyline. You don't need to be into it. But what you should do is you should Google Ncuti as the Doctor. His wardrobe is queer AF. Like, I want whatever that wardrobe is, whatever that style is, I need somebody to be able to come and redo my wardrobe that way because he looks amazing. He is the first openly gay Black Doctor that we've had in Doctor Who. It's so queer. It's been fun. It's great. And I love it. All right. If you're like, I've never heard of this person before, Ncuti was also in Sex Ed. He was a queer character on that show who was discovering his sexuality as he was moving through high school, parallel to one of the other characters on the show. Many characters. There's lots of characters figuring out their sexuality, but Ncuti was one of the characters that was on that show, and he was phenomenal in it, so it's amazing to see him here as the Doctor. Number 3, Bambi Thug at Eurovision. They are Ireland's first openly non-binary entrant with the song Doomsday Blue, and they ended up winning 6th place in the contest. And it was great. So I don't know if you guys get a lot of stuff from Eurovision. I get a lot of content from Eurovision every year, always have. And Barbie Thug came up on my phone all the time. So I'm also going off of stuff that's like top of mind because it's all over my For You page. Maybe not right now, but over the course of the year, it's the stuff that you remember. Number 2, my favorite book perhaps of last year. And I put this high on the list, and I'm sorry, it's not pop cultural for those of you who really don't read, but it was so incredible. It was The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. Oh, Casey McQuiston is a non-binary author. They also wrote Red, White, and Royal Blue. And that also last year in the summertime ended up coming out that they were getting a second movie, a sequel. So just incredible. The Pairing is a book in which 2 exes who are both bisexual go on a European tour, a food and wine tour, and they happen to be on the same tour. And as they're on this tour, they are trying to have a hookup contest with the people in different places to prove that they're over each other. The first half of the book takes place from one person's perspective. The other half of the book takes place from the other person's perspective, Theo and Kit, and there's a non-binary character in there and their journey through their understanding of their sexuality, and it's a beautiful love story, and it's very rich visually, and it was my favorite thing that I read all year. It was something that just absolutely weaseled its way immediately into my heart and will always be there for the rest of time. I was at the Renaissance Fair by myself, which is not an abnormal thing, but I just want to give you the visual because this is about the gayest thing that you could do. I was at the Renaissance Fair in my Renaissance Fair wear, in the dress, with the headdress, with the head garb, and I was waiting for my lunch. And while I was waiting for my lunch, I literally pulled my Kindle out and had to read a chapter because I couldn't stop. I was like, I'm in the middle of this incredible day, but for like the 20 minutes that I'm going to sit down and eat, I'm just going to bang a chapter out. And it was amazing. And I loved it. So I just want to let you know that if you are a reader, you want to check out The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. If you're not a reader, I'm sorry that it's number 2 on the list, but it really was that good. So it will go down as one of the books that, like, please bury me with it. Number 1. I have a feeling this is going to be controversial for some people. We're going back to the VMAs. Not for Chapel, but for Sabrina Carpenter. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Sabrina Carpenter, short and sweet, baby it's me espresso, she's not gay. And you're right, she's not gay. But what I will say is, the gayest thing that you could do, ever, perhaps, is kiss an alien. Not a smooch on the lips. We're not talking about like a little peck. We're talking about open mouth kissing an alien at the VMAs. So first, she came out with the music video where she kisses Jenna Ortega. Okay, kind of gay. Kissing the alien at the VMAs is the gayest thing you can do. And I think because of how last summer panned out, because it was Chapel and Billie Eilish and Charlie XCX, and we had Taylor Swift in there with the Tortured Poets Department. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Taylor Swift is also not gay. But I will say this. Are you sure? Taylor Swift being bisexual feels correct to me. I know that that's not like me putting a tin hat on, okay? People say this. What I will say is, I think Sabrina Carpenter felt left out. And so she said, how can I personally walk through my life and be a one-upper? And she decided to kiss an alien at the VMAs, and it was gay, and it was phenomenal. All right, that's today's episode. I know it was a quick one, but I just wanted to get on and do a short and sweet episode so that you can get back to your Pride parties. Happy, happy Pride. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being queer. We love you, okay? And I will be back on Tuesday with the people that we meet on vacation in our Emily Henry series, and then we will be back here on Thursday for Juneteenth. I love you. Until then, stay gay. Bye.